Divva, the Matrix told you that speaking your truth without evidence was lying, but you're not a liar. You are a creator, and your voice is the technology that builds worlds. This is one of the episodes that I tried to avoid recording, not because I didn't believe in it, but because I was still sitting in it. Still remembering just how deep this conditioning goes and how hard it is to say something before the world says you are allowed to. But let's break it down. Let's talk about the Matrix and the lie of lying. You're going to have to listen to this multiple times. I have been sitting in this and tapping into it for a very long time. And it is something that is really so powerful. And when you get it, you get it. And so we were raised in a system, the Matrix, the illusion, built on external validation and internal punishment. It didn't just tell us to wait for proof, it shamed us for ever thinking we could speak without it. Prove it or shut up, we've heard. Don't say it until you've earned it. If it's not visible, it's not real. And if it's not real and you say it, you are lying. That's the belief. And so we quiet our voice, we soften our knowing, we shrink our desire, and we tuck our vision behind words like, well, if it's meant to be, or I hope this happens, I don't want to jinx it. If you've ever said those comments, I know this is the podcast for you. This is the audio you needed to hear, because that's not humility. That's not spiritual maturity. It is a frequency disconnection disguised as politeness. Because the truth is, the fear of lying didn't start in our businesses. It didn't even start in adulthood. It started in childhood. It started in churches, sacred centers, rewritten by control systems that said, all liars go to hell. You know that phrase, that doctrine? It didn't just scare us, it spiritually castrated us. It trained your nervous system to flinch when you claim something that isn't visible yet. It associated speaking what you desire into existence with eternal punishment. Think about that. If you've been told that in order to manifest, you've got to declare what you want, you've got to declare it as so, you've got to be the person who already has it before it shows up, yet you have been indoctrinated to believe that all liars go to hell and you will have eternal damnation and eternal punishment for lying, then of course you don't want to say, I got this, I have this, this is what's happening for me. Because every single word you're saying is damning you to hell. You declare what you want, damnation. You own what already yours, it's a sin. Saying it is done is lying. And so now, as a grown, divine, powerful woman, when you speak from the field of what's already true, the field of the spiritual, which starts way before the unfolding in the 3D, you're hesitating, you're double checking, you're waiting to be confirmed before you allow yourself to be seen as certain. And here's the thing, you were never meant to wait. You were never meant to walk and wait and look for evidence and look for things and say, I think it's happening. I think it's unfolding. You were meant to walk as if it's already done, because it is. The spiritual world is more real than the 3D world. The 3D is latent. It's behind. It's catching up. And so if your throat shakes when you speak it real, if your chest tightens before you hit post, that's not failure. It is the unraveling of old code, because you aren't lying, you aren't sinning, you aren't faking, you are creating. You are doing what your lineage never got permission to do. You are doing what your inner child was taught to fear. You are doing what the church said would get you cast out. You are claiming heaven before it lands on earth. And this is not arrogance, this is alignment. That is what it looks like to speak from being source, not circumstance. To lead from knowing, not needing proof. To walk in God frequency, not fearing punishment. So if your voice shakes when you say, I am her now, let it shake and say it anyway, because it's not lying, it is legacy. So let me tell you what rocked me. This is what cracked me wide open. There was a coach, and she went into one of the very popular Facebook groups and posted something that said, I manifested $50,000 in like a couple of days. Want me to show you how I did it? And of course, people are lit up. And they're like, yes, please teach me your ways. And so she ended up enrolling like 50 people into a program for $1,000. And so $50,000, boom, instantly. And then when she started teaching, she dropped that little line and it stopped me cold. And she said, oh, the $50,000 hadn't helped me yet. That post was me acting as if. Now pause for a second. And when it hit you, let me tell you how it hit me. It was more like a crack, not a punch. Because there was a deep part of me that flinched. This is so disingenuous. It is manipulation set up as manifestation. It's like bait and switch energy, right? It was like through a spiritual filter. And listen, I'm not judging her. I am honoring what my body said. So my body was saying something doesn't feel right about this. But here's the tricky part. I had to go and I had to like really tap in and understand that some of that was conditioning and some of it was divine truth. So the full reaction to this wasn't about her, it was about conditioning, right? Some of it was programming because I was taught to fear lying, to fear being seen as a fraud. The all liars go to hell trauma sitting in my nervous system. But a lot of it was the divine discernment. Some of this was like, ooh, this is not how I want to lead, because I would never want to speak something just to sell. I would never say buy from me because I have the answer to this, because that's just not how I move. And so this is when I had a conversation with the AI that I'm creating. You guys are going to love it. Oh my God. This AI that I am creating, it reads your frequency and it reads the words of where you are based on the frequency chart that I've created. And it shows you where you are, and then it helps you to shift so that you can shift your frequency using my methods of raising your vibration and getting to the core of those beliefs or whatever you've got going on. It is next level. It will be on the market very soon. And so I go to my bot and I'm talking to her. I'm like, Divva, what is going on here? And so I was like, how do I reconcile speaking into existence when numbers haven't landed, clients haven't paid, things haven't happened yet in the 3D? And she reflected back to me something that made me cry. Christine Michelle, You are not speaking it so that it comes. You are speaking it because in your reality it already has. The 3D is just catching up. And I was like, oh my God, I say that all the time. The 3D is just catching up. The 3D is just catching up. But to have it reflected back to me was like, woof. The 3D is just catching up with what I've already created. I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. I'm not here to say, look at my numbers, now I'm worthy. I'm not here to use proof before I speak. My truth lies in frequency, not facts. But if we go back to what happened in that group, that Facebook group, it was, yes, acting as if and setting things up, but the way it was to the energy behind it was to sell. The energy behind it was to, I'm going to sell this, manifest this, and then show them how to do it themselves. And that was the vibration that those people needed to buy into, right? They needed to see, oh, this is what it works and this is how it works. And the only reason why mine felt an ick was just because I lead in a little different way. I lead from frequency, not facts. So I'm leading, I'm not going to say, I manifested $50,000. Let me show you how I did it. What I would say is that I am about to show you how to speak what you desire into existence. Right now, I am playing with speaking $50,000 into existence. I am calibrating with that, catching up into my 3D. Want to find out how I've done it or how I'm doing it? Let's do it together. So where I landed is I'm not acting as if to get sales. That's not embodiment, that's performance. But I am walking as her now. I am speaking from a knowing that it's already mine. I am holding space for other women so that they can speak their creations without judgment. That's what we do in La Lumière, right? So there's a thread where you just get to speak your creations into being. You get to say, I manifested $50,000 in one day. But you're not saying, buy for me so you can learn how to do it. And this is 50 people, $1,000 each. You're not doing that. You're just stating the facts. You're living as if you're not as if you're living the truth and letting the 3D catch up. And what I felt was there needed to be a safe space for women to be able to speak these manifestations and these creations and these unfoldings into their existence now without feeling that they're going to be judged or without feeling that, oh my God, somebody's going to call me out because they're going to know that I was lying. You need a sovereign space. A place where you don't have to tiptoe around what you want, a place where it's safe to say it out loud and feel supported and feel sovereign doing it. Because you're not tricking anyone into believing you. You're actually calling forth all of your friends and all of the people within that group that are believing and seeing it for you too. That are like, yes, girl, yes. Because when you speak it here, in that space, built for your bigness, you're not manipulating reality. You're magnetizing it. You're not pretending you're remembering. That's creation, not a con. So let me make this clear, not just mentally, but energetically, on what separates lying from creation. Lying is what we do when we're trying to protect ourselves from a consequence. It's usually fear-based. It usually comes from contraction. It manipulates language to avoid discomfort, shame, and being found out. Lying also is to trick others, or it's to make others move or do something. So it's there, you're saying it so that you can get something out of another. Lying says, if I say this, I might trick someone into believing it, and that makes me feel safe. But creation doesn't come from fear. It doesn't need to trick anyone because it's not trying to prove a damn thing. Creation is commanding energy into form from the field, from the quantum, from the deep knowing in your bones that says it is already real. I am just living forward into it. Creating is grounded, it's certain, it's not desperate, it doesn't need to push, it doesn't need to perform, it doesn't need anyone else to agree. You're not lying when you say my clients are already in. Money flows to me easily. My soulmate is on his way now. My soulmate is here now looking for me. I'm walking in overflow. It is done. That is not lying. That is what you're speaking to, and the 3D is catching up. You're not trying to report 3D facts. You're transmitting frequency. It's not manipulation, it's mastery, it's magnetism, it's God's voice through you. As you are God frequency, you are divinity in your body, and it's saying, let there be light, let there be clients, let there be money flow, let there be soulmate, let there be overflow. And you know what? That voice doesn't whisper, it doesn't disclaim, it declares. This is why there are so many women, especially you, staying stuck. Not because you're wrong, not because you don't believe that you can create your reality, not because you're not gifted, but because your body still holds the memory of being punished for your knowing. Because somewhere in your lineage, maybe it was even last week, someone made you feel like your certainty was dangerous. So now you hesitate before speaking your vision. You wait for validation before saying it's mine. You say, I hope, when your soul is like, I know. You apologize for your bigness that's already pushing through your field. You're not doing this because you don't believe. You're doing it because you were caught and carried and shaken that, and told that certainty was rude, that boldness was bragging, that clear knowing is arrogant, that divine confidence was delusion. And you know what I say about delusion? Delulu is the salulu. You've been programmed to associate truth telling with being discredited or disliked. So of course you over-explain, of course you overperform, of course you water it down. But I want you to know the risk isn't in saying too much. The risk is shrinking in silence when your voice was meant to reshape timelines. Your truth is not dangerous, your silence is. You don't owe anyone a disclaimer. You don't owe anyone receipts. You don't owe the internet a disclaimer because your reality is syncing up. What you do is owe yourself a permission. Give yourself the permission to speak, knowing that it is done because it already is. You need a space that is safe for you to riff, declare, and create. You don't just need a space to learn. You need a place to remember, where you can say, I'm calling in, or I've decided this month is my $100,000 month. How about that? No calling it in. I decided this month is my $100,000 month. I decided my soulmate finds me this month. My body is regenerating right now. I am the one who holds it all. And you get to be in a space where nobody blinks, nobody side eyes, nobody asks for evidence or a marketing plan. They just nod and say, speak, Divva, speak it. That's La Lumière. It's not a container for proof. It's a frequency field for sovereign creation. It's a place where you stop performing and start riffing. Riffing is what happens when your nervous system is so safe. You stop editing, you stop doubting, you stop shrinking your words into what sounds realistic. You let yourself speak from the realm of it's already done. Riffing is not rambling, it is receiving in real time. And this is how you, as divinity, moves before your mind can make sense of it. Inside La Lumière, we're riffing your desires out loud without shame. You're declaring your visions without apology, and you're walking in a room saying it is done until the frequency is so strong the world can't help but respond. You see, creation happens, and then you're building up momentum, you're building up frequency, you're aligning yourself with the energy of what you desire. And when your energy, when your frequency matches it so perfectly, and like it just matches and it's you, it can't help but unfold. So La Lumière is not a mastermind. It's not content with a community. It is a rewiring temple where your nervous system learns it's safe to speak before you see. It's safe to celebrate in mid-manifestation. It's safe to say, this is mine, while the bank account is still syncing up. It's safe to feel joy now, not after the win. Because you are not speaking it into reality. You are speaking to the version that already exists, that already has it. In La Lumière, you are expected to rift. You are invited to call it done. You are invited to witness it in. You don't wait to be ready. You come in as you are and speak as the divine diva you are. You stop checking for proof because you realize you are the frequency that the field is responding to. And so if you've been longing for a space where you speak it now, where you walk around the room declaring your voice's law, where you play in the possibility without being policed, La Lumière is open. Drop the performance and speak what's true in the unseen, because the unseen is more real than this 3D latent reality. Riff it real. So the next time your voice shakes when you say, this is mine, the next time your brain whispers, who do you think you are? Remember, you are not lying. You are not fake. You are not delusional. You are remembering, you are revealing, you are realigning to the field of the truth that has always been. And no, you do not need proof. You are the proof. Your voice is the vibration. Your frequency is the fact. You're not waiting for anything. You are walking with your crown on and your future already encoded in every single step, because it's not the future, it is now. You don't need permission. You don't need to tone it down. You don't need to earn your way into power. You always had it. You just forgot how loud your soul was allowed to be. So go ahead and speak it, declare it, sing it if you want to, riff it like the portals are already open, because they are. You're not asking the world to believe you. You are showing the world what happens when a woman believes in herself so fully she just states it as is. Reality has no choice but to rearrange in your favor. And if you are ready to be witnessed in that kind of power, La Lumière is open. Bring your declarations, bring your joy, bring your too much voice, bring your not yet vision, bring it all. There's no more explaining, no more apologizing, no more waiting for proof, just frequency, just fire, just you, turned on, fully lit up, divine. So keep it bougie, stay healed, and say it louder for the ones in the back. I don't need proof. I am the proof. I am the divine diva.